Steve Corica said seeing Perth lift the Premier's plate, cut deep. But he said they had to give them credit. Sydney FC winners of the Premier's plate in recent years, but not to be this time around. Chris Beath, could he be looking at an A-League Grand Final appointment in the weeks to come? KGJ closing in on 100 games in the VAR Centre. 94 tonight. And Tony Popovic, another piece of silverware for the Super Coach. He won it with the Wanderers, the Premier's plate, in their inaugural season, and now 1 out of 1 with the Glory. The Sydney boy. Brandon O'Neill's got a great record against his former club. Played 17 games for the Glory, and he's won 9 out of 11 against them. Turned 25 last week as well. Did the midfielder, playing alongside Josh Berlanti. Sydney FC hoping to lock down second spot on the ladder. They're only 2 points clear of the Melbourne Victory, and that top 2 finish is all important, especially with Sydney FC looking at a trip to South Korea in amongst their finals campaign. Lafondra, and the foul is given. Sliding challenge came from Scott Neville. It's the 43rd meeting between these clubs. A head-to-head that has been dominated by Sydney FC. 24 wins to 9 draws thrown in there as well. 82 goals scored to 46 against, and they had won 9 in a row before Perth won that round 12 encounter to stop the rot. Look at all those wins for Sydney FC before Kianese scored that double last time they squared off. Aaron Calver alongside Wilkinson in the heart of defence. This playing surface certainly has improved in the last month or so after Perth played in a W-League Grand Final here. Interesting to see the flag stay down for Lafondra, and the cutback decent. Ninkovic couldn't adjust in time. Now Retre, decent turn back to O'Neill, and the deflection out for a corner. Robbie Slater's made his way up. What do you think of that initial ball? Well, now the flag goes up.
Yeah, it looked offside. It looked like he'd gone too early, and it's taken a long time. But if a goal had been scored, it would have been ruled out quite easily. But Sydney looking to come down that right-hand side. But what a night, Speedy. They arrive here, their first game since they lifted the Premier's plate just a few days ago. Against the side, 1v2, against the side that, of course, won the Premier's plate last year, and certainly 2 teams are going to have a big say come the finals.
What about your work rate? Have you got your breath back, or are you cheating a little bit?
Well, you were very kind. You just let me get my breath back. But it was a bit of a sprint from down on the ground, but it was great to see Tony Sage. And, of course, Perth, a lot of changes tonight. So Sydney really with a big opportunity, with victory breathing down their necks to cement second spot.
Santalab with the hold-up play. Brimmer looking for a penetrating pass to Fabio Ferreira. Harmlessly through to Redmayne. Still the same formation that has done wonders for the Perth Glory this season, that 3-5-2. Just some new personnel. Sean de Jong finding Grant. Mullet flowing in the breeze. Lafondra chesting it down for Ninkovic. Berlanti. O'Neill. Ninkovic thought about the little ball over the top. I think he's offside or borderline again there, Lafondra. It is a Sydney FC throw. Berlanti, what a ball. Grant's in behind. And optimistic cries for a penalty from the stands. Grant wasn't appealing as Kianese won the challenge.
Yeah, and there's a real glimpse of what they're all about. Kianese tracking back Grant with that. We see that run so often. He goes from right fullback, and Chianese was aware of it.
He's provided 8 assists this season, normally playing in the attacking third, Joel Chianese, but he fills in for Jason Davidson tonight in that left wing-back role, and it's something that he did in pre-season as well, and probably caught the eye of Tony Popovic, willing to play an unfamiliar role and show Papa what he had.
And he's played such a big part in this premiership win. But it is a position that's not, you know, natural to him, and they'll lose a bit of balance. Jason Davidson's had a fantastic season at left fullback.
Yeah, there was a thought that Franjic would go across and play the left wing-back role, and Chianese might get the right wing-back spot, but they were playing ducks and drakes with their team sheet, the Perth Glory. Here is Jacob Italiano, the youngster, and his cutback cut out by Calver. Saw a lot of him last year under Kenny Lowe. Then he signed that deal with Borussia Mönchengladbach, who he'll join at season's end, and we've only seen him for a couple of minutes. Last time these clubs squared off, he came off the bench, Jacob Italiano.
And that'll be a problem for a lot of these players. They haven't had many minutes, and they're coming away to Sydney. Difficult game, but what a wonderful chance to show the coach exactly what he can do.
He turns 18 in July, so that allows him to move to Germany then. Doing all right on the facial hair front for a 17-year-old. You didn't shave till you're about 19, Robert.
Maybe not that late.
Kilkenny's been shaving his head since he originally shaved it to raise money for charity. Slices that one. It was a decent ball, and they asked for handball off Tommy Machella. There's nothing doing. Now the cross looking for Santalab, and he won that header in amongst a couple of Sydney FC players, which was an encouraging sign as we check in with Daniel Garb.
Speedy, thank you. I'm with the man of the moment, Alex Broski. Great to see you. What a night. We've got the Broski masks going out everywhere. There's been the big tifo. They're jumping in the cove. A presentation after the game. What do you make of it all?
Look, to be honest, it's been very overwhelming, just the whole response that I've received, which has been nice. You know, I don't have any social media or anything like that, but my family show me all of the things that are being written and said, and like I said, it's overwhelming. I didn't expect all of that, and look, I'm just proud that we can sort of celebrate that. I get a chance to thank the fans and all the members tonight, but of course we've got a game to win tonight, which is the most important thing. And you've started pretty well. A shame you're not involved tonight. What's the injury? How long are you out for? Hopefully just tonight. It's another sort of plantar fascia injury, but on the other foot now, so it's just letting the pain settle down and the swelling go down, and then I should be right to start back up again.
Thanks, Broski. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the tributes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just a minor plantar fascia. Flag's going to go up this time. I think he was closer to being onside than last time.
No, but that Perth back three, pretty square. LaFondra just bends his run a little bit better. I see their discipline. You talked about the same
He's
system.
almost on there, right?
Yeah, he almost was on.
Or maybe even on.
But you talked about Perth having the same system, and that's what Popovic does. All these players will be drilled to know exactly how the first 11, if you want to put it that way, play. They've still obviously got experience in it. Kilkenny's had a super season. And that battle of the midfield, Brillante O'Neill, and in particular Kilkenny and Brimmer, will be certainly important into who eventually runs out to win this game, if there is a winner.
Steve Corica just probably still assessing on how he might want to attack things now that he knows Chianese is the left wing back right in front of him. Now Ferreira trying to slip it past Calver. He'll be off to the new A-League club, Western United, next season. I've already made quite a few signings. The new club. Plenty of talk that they'll be coached by Mark Rudan as well. although that is yet to be confirmed. As Ninkovic, the most fouled player in the A-League, is brought down again by Franjic that time. He's onside clearly. Lafondra this time around, dragging Neville towards the sideline. Floats one in. And not the kind of ball that a Caceres is really going to get on the end of. Ready. De Jong hunting him down. Just eased off at the end of it all. Liam Reddy, once of Sydney FC. He played 37 games for the club, had 6 clean sheets during that time. This season alone, he's up to 11. He's played each and every game. Both he and Franjic continuing that streak tonight of appearing in every game for the Glory. We won't see Andy Keogh extend that streak, though. Not amongst the substitutes tonight, left back in Perth. Calver can let that one sail.
Well, he's freshened up his side, and they look fresh, Perth, don't they? Look sharp. Sydney have had this week to recover after the Wanderers game. Of course, that was 3 days after that massive game here against SIPG.
Wilkinson just dropped off to Lafondra. They've got him for offside again. And he'll be on notice, Andrew Lindsay, the assistant, if he gets this one wrong, because he put the flag up for the first one belatedly, and he got this one right, so credit to him. The last one he got wrong, though. Tough gig, often just centimetres in it. That's why they do encourage them to keep the flag down and let VAR sort it out if required. Berlanti shutting down the passing lane. Lowry telling Italiano to get on his bike, and he's in behind Grant here, who played it well, shepherded it out for the goal kick.
Just used his body well. Italiano, a bit of a linking of the arms there. Italiano willing to go beyond. Deep one late from midfield.
Last time Sydney FC hosted the Perth Glory, it was a 6-0 win. Round 13 of last year. Perth have been a much different proposition on the road this season. Undefeated on the road, a big contributing factor.
Yeah, it's extraordinary that when you think the 2 games they've lost have been at home, and whatever Popovic has done and the medical staff, they've certainly worked out the away form, which has really been with them since the Hyundai A-League started.
Well, Seam de Jong crumples to the turf again, holding his foot after a rather timid challenge by Neil Kilkenny. Now he's back to his feet, and he'll get it here. The Dutchman, he's caught again. He's in the wars. O'Neill, and it deflects to the favour of Reddy. Well, it's fair to say he's a little fragile. Down under is Seam de Jong.
Yeah, he just got up and Grant planted the ball, and he got the pass away. There was definite foul in this one. Just catches him late, Brimmer. Referee played the advantage rule.
Last time he started a game, he scored the goal against Wellington across the ditch, and that was his final contribution when he was nailed by Durante in the process. Saw him start that game in the Asian Champions League here. Got some grass clippings to sort out as well as the Dutchman. His former club Ajax. He is into the last 4 of the UEFA Champions League. After stunning Real Madrid and then Juventus in consecutive ties. Franjic racked up his 100th A-League win last weekend, scored the winner against the Jets. Second quickest ever to 100 A-League wins. Do you know who the quickest is, Robbie?
Just here, Ryan. Just here, man.
Can you give me a clue?
He's a former teammate of Ivan Franjic. And he had a lot of success at a certain club.
Brisbane Roar, that would be, obviously.
Yeah. Franjic did it in 195 games. Someone else did it in 191.
What about Matt Mackay?
No. Boom, boom.
The suspense is killing me. You better just tell
Well,
us.
letting the fans just have a little play along at home for another 10 seconds. Of course, they had a very successful member of that club who'd come from another championship-winning club. He went from the Melbourne Victory to the Brisbane Roar.
The goalkeeper.
Michael Theoklitos, who became Theo, owns that record. And he loves a shout-out. If you don't mention Theo when he's got a record, he'll let you know about it. So there you go. There's the shout-out. 191 games to get to a century. Chianese helping it into the area. Away by Wilkinson. Back in by Chianese. Italiano brought it down neatly. Grant will run out of room. Just the throw-in. Caceres went through the back of Italiano there. This game originally slated for the SCG. Everyone's delighted to see them come to a venue with a playing surface like this. No cricket pitch area to negotiate. And Neville around the corner. Decent ball. Ferreira unable to control it though.
Yeah, didn't keep his width. Ferreira, he'd come inside and wasn't able to control that with the outside of his right boot.
Chris Beath suggesting that's an advantage that he's playing after Lafondre's foul on Franjic. Neat passing under pressure by the Perth Glory. First Neville, then Brimmer, now Franjic. Coolly done by Ryan Grant. The awareness of what was around him.
And the technique. Player that's really gone to another level, Ryan Grant. He has been absolutely outstanding this season.
Missed a few games, of course, away with the Socceroos at the Asian Cup. Well, Caceres kept that alive, and De Jong wasn't really expecting it. Rattray in that left-back role with no Michael Zullo due to injury. Now Ninkovic. Rattray tracks it down ahead of Fabio Ferreira, who was on Sydney FC's books last year. 5 games off the bench. Ninkovic, trademark move. First time release over the top to Rattray was pretty handy. Franjic got in the road.
And that's where you'd like to see Rattray. You know, he's in space there to just take it on with his left foot. Once he comes back onto his right foot, the chance is gone.
That was strong work by Jake Brimmer, who got rave reviews from Tony Popovich last week after replacing one day when he went down. Great turnout on a Thursday night ahead of the Easter weekend. They put a movie on here for the kids who wanted to get here early. 5:10 was the start time on the big screen on the far side. And a lot of kids and families were rolling in at 5 p.m. tonight, Robbie. It was a great scene, and the beanbags were on the far side on the hill. And, of course, the Cove arrived a little bit later on after getting to a pub nearby. But there are the beanbags. What a great way to view some football on a Thursday night. Perth have actually lost their last 2 on Thursday nights. Sydney FC have enjoyed more success. They've won their last 3. Rattray wins a corner. First corner of the game, 20 minutes in. In-swinger is deep, ready. Elects the punch, didn't get it that far. Back in by Lafondra. And they couldn't sort out the next part of it all. That was a half chance for Sydney FC after a weak punch from Reddy.
Yes, Lafondra hooked that back in. They were just a bit flat-footed, the Sydney FC players, and Perth were able to scramble it away.
And Italiano swapping sides here. Fabio liked what he saw for a moment before Wilkinson saw off that threat. Fondra had a little look over the shoulder to see where Caceres was. Ninkovic. That was intended for Lafondra, but he went the other way.
He checked back, didn't he? Ninkovic just looking to cushion it.
Tony Popovic is upset with someone at the moment. I think it might be Ivan Franjic that he was trying to get a message across to on the far side. An amazing piece by Robbie Cornthwaite during the week on the Player's Voice that runs on the Fox Sports website. And Tony Popovic coached Robbie Cornthwaite and wanted to drum into him which foot to block shots with, and Cornthwaite kept on going with the wrong foot, and Popper hauled him in and said, "What are you doing? I've told you which foot to block it with," and eventually the message got through. So it might have been one of those little moments for Franjic in his first season under Popper. It's a corner off Calver. Did you read that article, Robbie?
No, I didn't, Speedy, but now that you've talked about it, I shall endeavour to do that.
Yeah, he talks about Popper having iPads for each and every player, and they cut up selective highlights for each individual player to take back and work on.
Attention to detail, that's what he's famous for.
And modern technology allows that, of course. As Kilkenny delivers, away by Lafondra, back in by Neville. Lowry just stumbled, allowing Calver to clear. Lowry staying forward, electing to head it straight into the mixer. Sydney FC eventually getting it back on the deck. Kept in by Lafondra. Drifts out to that wide area at times.
And he does like, particularly the left-hand side, where he was very productive in that game we talked about before. I did, Shanghai SIPG.
Part of the reason this game's being played on a Thursday is because they've got that return matchup, match day 4 in the AFC Champions League, live on Fox Sports next Tuesday night. So they'll head off on Saturday, Sydney FC, to head up to China. And then get back next Thursday morning ahead of an away game in Newcastle to complete their home and away season. Rolled to Italiano. And the cross dealt with by Wilkinson. Bremer illegally nudging De Jong off the ball. Sanderlab gets a little warning there from Chris Beath. Who's the win more important for tonight ahead of a potential finals matchup, Robbie?
Oh, Sydney, without a doubt. In respect to, Perth have got the Premier's plate wrapped up, but for Sydney, it's victory. They have to expect that victory will win in Adelaide. In respect to the 2 and 3, and of course Adelaide, Wellington, Melbourne City, all thinking about top 4. So some cracking games over Easter.
Kilkenny, great ball, allows Sanderlab to turn. He goes for goal and drags it wide. There were other options there for Sander, but he took on the strike from 25 metres away.
He had Italiano to his left. Ferreira was probably the one he was thinking of the most, but he pulls the trigger. Look at that space he pulls into. One touch, and certainly had Redmayne concerned. He's at full stretch to his right as it whizzes past that far post.
His only goal for Perth came against Sydney in round 12, and here's that live ladder scenario that Robbie's talking about. Sydney FC credited with a point at the moment in this game would be 3 points clear of the victory. They'd love to bank 3 points and extend that margin and ensure a week off in week 1 of the finals. Second lockdown, second.
And just another example of how organised Perth are. Sydney finding it extremely difficult to break through the lines.
Popovic really coaching Italiano and Chianese on the run. That header straight back to Lafondra, though. Ninkovic has made the run through the middle. Marcella able to deal with that. O'Neill picks up the scraps. Little no-look pass. Look how narrow they are here, but they'll get a free kick.
Well, they've done well to get a free kick because they were so narrow. Ryan Grant had coming in. As Brandon O'Neill turns there, he was looking for Grant on the right-hand side who'd come inside. Collects this ball and manages to get a free kick, which it was from Italiano. He really didn't need to do it. They had lots of bodies there.
Well, this used to be the domain of Brandon O'Neill, a set piece from this kind of area. Not when this guy's playing, though. Scored 4 goals so far in his young A-League career. Siem de Jong hunting a top corner, put it straight into the wall. Neat technique again from Italiano to cushion that one for Kilkenny. Kranic back to Bremer. Use an arm there, Grant. No complaints by the Glory. Strong work by Lowry, but he gave it back to Grant, who found Lafondra a second time around.
He should have just laid it off. I'm not sure why he had Caceres and Grant just behind him. Adam Lafondra, and Sydney turn it over again. Look how sharp their pressing is, Perth, though.
That was the double team of Chianese and Italiano that did win it back. That ball out of play. "17 wins already this season for Tony Popovic and the Glory. 57 points in the bank. Remarkable success. And great scenes last Sunday night. In the West, talk this week about maybe booking Optus Stadium for the grand final. They only need to win one final and they will be hosting the big one. And that will be against a Wellington, a Melbourne City or an Adelaide, that one semi-final. Grant the target here. Chianese got back to flick it away. Bit of a breeze, as we mentioned. It's just holding up a few of these passes and allowing defenders to readjust. O'Neill puts it in with too much pace. No goals in the opening half hour here at Cogra. One of those two losses for Perth this season did come against Sydney FC in round 9. That was in the West. Lafondra and De Silva with the goals back in round 9 before a late consolation goal from Economides, who's out with a shoulder problem at the moment. There are other injury victims. Davidson with a knee, one day with a groin. Both should be right for, or all three should be right for that week 1 of the finals, or week 2 of the finals, their first final. Oh, that's a sloppy giveaway to Lafondra. Has to wait for the support to come. Stopped by Lowry. Well, I don't think we'll be playing next week, Robbie Slater. Either if he picks up a yellow card tonight, he'll be suspended, or if he doesn't pick up a yellow card, then surely they'll rest him. Because he's on 7. And an 8th would mean a 1-game suspension. O'Neill. Brimmer, better pass this time to Italiano. Chianese can advance. O'Neill looking to get across. Oh, nearly. Italiano trying to poke it back out in front of Chianese. Now there's space to explore on this side with those two men committed forward. Grant knew it, Caceres knew it. Marcella stepped up at the right time.
De Jong doesn't peel off, and that's the problem Sydney are having as they approach that front third. Not enough movement, not enough bodies. Perth having the same problems. It's a real stalemate here. It's a lot of it in the middle third. Both goalkeepers without a save to make, really.
Sydney FC started tonight on 49 points. It's the most points for a team after 25 rounds of a season that won't go on to lift the Premier's plate. Normally, that has you on target for that silverware, that kind of season, but not this time around. Ninkovic gliding. Caceres, O'Neill. Grant was an option, but Grant wasn't exactly taking off that time.
You see how Perth quickly get back into their formation. Those two wingmen, if you want to call them that, drop back in to make that line of 5.
Sydney FC have won their last 5 home games against the Glory. by a combined margin of 19 goals to 1. This new defence that's been honed by Popovic, though, doesn't look like giving up much tonight. Best attack, best defence. Pretty good combo.
Was it 51 goals, 22 conceded?
Yep. That was a very neat finish from Ivan Franjic against the Jets, wasn't it? Doesn't get into that position too often, but he took it well. Italiano's ball back into the middle. Santalab kept it rolling, and here is Franjic. Little stutter step, open up some space and an angle to find Ferreira. He went to ground but wasn't fouled. Overhit again for Lafondra, who was on the chase for a moment. Crossed the line before Chianese could hook it back in. 100th game tonight in the A-League. First 40 of those with Sydney FC. He scored 11 goals and had 1 assist. It's his 60th game for the Glory tonight. 9 goals and 12 assists. 8 of those assists have come this season. Really has taken his game to the next level. And to think he was in the Malaysian second division with Andrew Naboot not that long ago. Caceres. Now he'll deliver. Back post and the header. Surely now it bundles its way in and Sydney FC do have the lead. Lafondra, is he claiming it? Did he touch it before it had crossed the line? Redcray did the damage. The Sky Blues in front of the Perth Glory.
Well, Redcray's done exactly what he needed to, not hang out on the left-hand side and get caught ball watching. I thought Caceres, who delayed it, they released him nicely. Lafondra, if Dion plays him, he's offside. I thought there, he's maybe delayed it too long. He gets around Chianese, terrific ball. Just clips it up to the back post. And yes, that will be Lafondra's goal. A rather scrappy one, they won't mind. Terrific ball this, because all the bodies are getting sucked near post. Reddy has to go across, so he can't readjust. And Lafondra, the ball just hits him, and that is his goal.
He is the outright leader in the Golden Boot race.
Well, he might get an easier one than that, Speedy.
Well, the hands could have gotten in the road, I suppose. But he has his 16th of the campaign, and Alex Brosk is up and about. I was about to say, where's the first goal going to come from?
Well, I was thinking exactly the same thing, and it's a rather scrappy goal. I mean, Franjic's position, of course, Redcray's come in behind him. It wasn't a clean header, it took a rebound. I'm not sure what Perth Glory head it hit, but it rebounded. Reddy had gone across to that side. It was all about the ball to the back post from Caceres.
Almost like a training ground finish from Lafondra. There wasn't much of a celebration about it. And he knew he had plenty of time just to get some part of the body on it. This is good play by the Glory. Left behind by Italiano, though. At the key moment, Caceres, a chance to launch a counter-attack. It's the 8th straight start in midfield for Anthony Caceres.
He's done well there as well. Isolated, but hit the ball and ate up the space first. Thought he had a pretty good game against the Wanderers as well in that 1-1 draw. He set up Brosk for that goal.
Fondra's first touch, just letting him down there.
And I thought he was fresh legs as well against Wanderers. I was a bit surprised when he was pulled off.
Well, there were a few flexing substitutions in the derby. Now Johan withdrawn for Mark Bridge.
Well, didn't get that one.
Apparently, Marcus Babbel had promised Mark Bridge a little run out in the derby, and Baum Johan's the one that had to make way. Who has been a standout creative player this season when available and on the pitch. Anyway, let's get back to this game.
Well, he was the best player at that point. More or less just equalised for them. Anyway.
Shout out to Marcus if he's watching. He always takes note of what the Fox Sports pundits say.
Oh, I'm sure he does, Speedy.
Especially when they picked them to finish bottom at the start of the season. He took note of that one. Well, when they said they'd struggle anyway, I think that was the phrase. Franjic dropping the shoulder on Ninkovic, who does so much of that defensive work. It flies under the radar at times. Big opportunity for him tonight to overhaul Diego Castro at the top of the Alex Tobin medal count. One behind the Spaniard heading into this game. Castro among the Glory substitutes. No pressure, Robbie. Your votes could be pivotal. Great first touch. Italiano, then the little shimmy, and it looked like a free kick. Chris Beath told him to get up, and he said, righto, I'm back. Kilkenny. Franjic was the target. Sydney FC broke it up. They are very effective in shutting down passing lanes. Putting a move on Caceres, who had Grant for support. Unfamiliar position for Perth, unbeaten on the road this season, behind in Sydney in round 26. Good run of success in the state of New South Wales recently as well, Perth. I think it's unbeaten in 6 in this state. Lowry was closed down. Lafondra is interested. Lowry did enough with that header. No Sporanovic, no Jorbic, no Alex Grant in defence tonight for Perth. Chianese deflection, and Redmayne had to come across. He was going wide, and it's an obvious corner decision.
Yeah, Redmayne wasn't sure, was he, at that near post. Chianese to clip that one to the back post. Big deflection, and clearly a corner for Perth Glory.
Yeah, it was tough for the assistant on the far side to read whether that had deflected off the Sydney FC player. So Chris Beath is the one that gives that call. Going to drive this one into the breeze is Kilkenny. And with the old Cardiff City signal. All the way through. Sarah's cleared. De Jong, counter-attack. Now, what's that decision? It's a yellow card for Ivan Franjic. No advantage from Chris Beath. So Ryan Grant's shot from 40 metres away was not in the real game time.
Well, they're asking for a yellow, but there's just too far to go. For a red, sorry. He's done well, De Jong, to get there. He gets ahead of Bremer, and Franjic takes him out. No attempt to play the ball. he was away.
And Ryan Grant ended up having a shot.
Yeah.
And he just went over and made the point to Chris Beath.
Hang on.
Give the yellow later. It's okay. Have a little look and see where the ball's gone. Chris Beath, more than 170 games in the A-League. It's probably one area of the game he falls down in. Still, after all those games, playing advantage.
Great feet from Caceres. In a really tight space.
Retray squeezed between a couple. Sliced away from its intended target there, that was Lafondra. Grant dived in and nicked it away. And Berlanti kept it for Sydney FC.
See the press starts as the ball goes backwards. Should be able to release Brillante intelligently from midfield, pulled out to the wide area.
De Jong dropped off. Caceres trying to bend one out towards Grant.
Grant was on his heels, which is rare. He's normally on his way there. It was the right idea from Caceres.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has announced there will be a minimum of 1 minute per time and run.
Here's another look at what happened. Look at Grant. Clearly going to get there first. He's making the point on the run. And Beathy's gone too early there with the yellow card.
And you look at the shot, I don't think Grant would have taken the shot. He's heard the whistle, that's why he hit the shot. He was away one-on-one.
Someone's getting vocal at pitch level there. That throw-in decision. Oof. Chris Beath blows the half-time whistle just as an agricultural foul was coming in from Aaron Culver. Well, the 16th goal of the season for Adam Lafondra separates the two teams at the break. Sydney FC on track for a priceless 3 points in pursuit of a top 2 spot on the A-League ladder at half-time. It's 1-0. Let's get down to Garby with the goal scorer.
I am with the goal scorer, Adam Lafondra. One of the easier goals you'll score, but I dare say you'll take it with glee.
Yeah, they're my favourite ones, you know. Anything where I don't really have to do too much and, you know, just let it hit me and it falls in, I'll take them all day.
Thanks, Adam. All the best. Good luck in the second half.
Cheers, geez. Thanks very much.
He smashed it in from halfway almost. Adam Peacock alongside Mark Bosnich. To be fair, he's in the right spot at the right time, and he always is, Adam Lafondra. He's that type of player in and around the box. Justified lead. We'll see the goal right now, Boss, but justified lead?
Look, if it's any team, you might say justified. They started a better than two teams, but after that, I thought Perth were superbly organised. Didn't really look like they were going to concede up until this. Just a little word there. So when the ball's played like that, you saw Scott Neville. When the ball's played like that and you realise it's going over your head, you can't just stop and let the guy have a completely free header. Yep. You've got to keep going and keep tracking. You don't jump where you think he's going to be, so you could get a handball. But you must keep going. So even though he's about to go for the header, he can see you coming towards you. If you stop, he's seen that in his peripheral vision. He can go for goal. He can do whatever he wants. But like I said, I thought the teams were very, very even. I thought Perth were very organised. Look, I thought 0-0 would have been a fair half-time, but they've got the lead. There you go.
We will talk more after the break with Mark Bosnich as Sydney hone in on a very important 3 points and possibly a week off in the first week of the finals. All to play for. Back in a moment with the chat with Bozza.
my app. At the moment, Sydney are on 50. When you ask me questions.
Hello, hello, hello. There you go. Hey, Jace. Got ya. Hey, Danny, away, mate.
How long on the break, Charles, please? Minute 10 on the break.
Yeah, I'm just changing my IFB because I couldn't hear in the tunnel.
Danny, we need to be really careful with this.
Welcome back to Sydney FC, farewelling Alex Broskor, the beginning of the farewell after he retired earlier in the week, but he's still got football to play. He's not involved tonight, and Sydney FC are doing a pretty good job without him so far, leading 1-0 against Perth Glory, looking for 6 straight wins at Jubilee here in the south of Sydney. They're undefeated in 55 when leading at halftime, their last 55, that is. Welcome back to the halftime show, Adam Peacock and Mark Bosnich.
It's going everywhere.
The wind at Cogra, not Bosnich's friend.
Some memories.
Happy to report it's all his these days, so we won't have an issue about anything flying into the crowd. Let's review the goal.
Yes.
And how will Tony Popovich, you touched on a little bit about Scott Neville's part in it, but overall, the ball went from one side to the other. Really, it should have been dealt with by then.
Well, first and foremost, let's take, if you want to take it from the start, from a coach's perspective, Sydney have been targeting Perth's left side down here. Somebody needs to close. I think it's Caceres here. I think it's Chianese. For me, he doesn't do a good enough job, and they don't do a good enough job as well with the header that comes back across the goal. I spoke about Scott Neville. You saw the player on the other side as well. You've got to make it much more difficult for that player. I was right behind this in the stand, and for me, far too much time for the player that was heading it. I think it might have been Retray that was heading it back across the face of goal. But here, see the body position there of Chianese? Chianese's basically basically turned his body, his left shoulder, towards a player who's a right-footed player. As soon as he touches on his right side, he's in big, big trouble. That is something that basically, if you want to show somebody in line, fine, but you've got to be on their strongest foot. His strongest foot is his right side. You can't be this way, you've got to be that way.
Probably doesn't happen if Jason Davidson is playing. He's got a little knee injury. He's back in Perth at the moment with a few others. We'll talk about that in a moment. But you do feel that Sydney, I mean, Ryan Grant's always a strength for them, but they're utilising that side a lot. You touched on it there. I mean, Caceres on that occasion, but this guy is getting beyond. He's almost like a winger.
Well, he is. I was just commenting upstairs to the people I was sitting with. His energy levels are absolutely phenomenal. And it's a real tribute to him as well that he suffered such a serious injury and he can come back and be this effective. Absolutely fantastic player. And like I said, got the energy and the attitude, more importantly, to boot. Nothing's too much for him. He doesn't get down if if something goes wrong for him. Continues to go. And one of the reasons why they're attacking that side is because for a vast majority of time, you've got Kianese, who's more a recognised attacker, having to come back here and defend.
Just on the game as a whole, I mean, Sydney started, like you said earlier, really fast, and then Perth came back into it. Is that adjusting to all the new faces? Is it a bit of a risk that Tony Popovic has taken tonight, resting all these players?
No, not at all. And we said this during the week, Adam. Look, we said that basically we thought that Tony Popovic would pick a team that he thought could win this game, and he's done that. But we also said if any of the players had any type of niggles or any type of issues with the final series coming up, he's well within his rights to rest them, and that's what he's done. Look, when you're playing away from home, regardless if you got your strongest 11 or maybe an 11 that you've made changes with for tonight, there's that chance for the Santa lad. Didn't go too far wide. Home side generally will start like Sydney did tonight. But I thought after that, I thought Perth were very, very comfortable with pretty much everything that Sydney threw at them. And the game didn't really explode in any type of way. But like I said, Sydney have got that lead at a very, very crucial time. 10 minutes at the start of each half is very, very important, and the end of each half, and they scored then.
Let's hear from Daniel Garbright now with some observations from pitch side there, where he's been situated in the first half.
Adam, thank you. Yeah, great watching Tony Popovic in that first half. Intriguing. I mean, you would have thought it was round one, never mind the week after they've just clinched the Premier's plate. Within 15 seconds, he was up off his seat, driving messages to his players. We know about his intensity and attention to detail. He was probably trying to send a message as well, let's be honest. All right, we need to focus again after winning that trophy, that triumph on the weekend, and set ourselves once more for the final 2 weeks and for the championship, of course. So just fascinating watching him in action close up.
Absolutely, Garby, even though figuratively speaking there's nothing on the line, he's treating it as if it is an FA Cup final. We're off to a short break as Perth look to protect their undefeated away form. That's something to be ultra proud of as a club, because they've always had issues, especially on the eastern seaboard. They've got an issue here. They're 1 goal down against Sydney FC. We're back in a moment with the second half live on Fox Sports at the start of your Easter weekend of football.
Potentially banned for attending future and dangerous activities.
Yep, Castro's coming on, I'm pretty sure, Jeff.
Yeah. Welcome back to Cogra, and look who's out there wearing the captain's armband, Diego Castro, ready to strut his stuff. This shows that Tony Popovic is serious about maintaining this unbeaten record on the road. He's turning to his talisman to try and turn this game around, because Adam Lefondra's goal has Sydney FC in front. Look at the intensity being displayed by the Spaniard as well. He is ready to go after replacing the teenager, Italiano. Away we go in the second half. Perth chasing the game. Not a lot for them to play for, of course, with the Premier's plate already secured. But I suppose they don't want to drop points to a potential grand final rival.
No, exactly, and it's just the way Tony Popovic is. He doesn't want to lose a game. You know, he doesn't want to lose that momentum, and what a player to bring on. And he states his intent at half-time. He doesn't wait. Seen enough. And now we've got potentially the play. Well, we've got the two best players so far on the pitch in the season.
Ferreira trying to squeeze one through to Castro. Layoff from Lefondra. Found De Jong. Had to stretch for it ahead of Lowry. Ninkovic scheming, looking for the run, and no look around the corner pass to Caceres with the outside of the boot. There's the class of Ninkovic. He's just seen Castro come on. He said, righto, it's game time. Don't see a no-look outside of the boot pass too often, do you? Like we just saw from Ninkovic. That one misplaced by O'Neill. Captain's armband is upside down, but he's at the right end of the Tobin medal count at the moment. Castro v Ninkovic, a two-horse race for the medal. And that gong, that is much sought after. Remember, Adrian Mirzaevski was in contention last year, and when the prospect of him being left out of games late in the season arose, he was filthy. He told Graham Arnold he was desperate to play because the Alex Tobin medal would look very good on his CV ahead of that move to China. Ninkovic striding.
There's no doubt after that first half, and you look at the way it was played out, it was very, very tight, scrappy goal. But Ninkovic wasn't as involved as I'm sure Steve Corica would like.
Confirmation that Mirzaevski did go on to win last year's Alex Tobin medal, and now scoring goals in the Chinese Super League after a lucrative move. Maybe that Alex Tobin medal put another zero on that contract up in China. De Jong interested, gets there first and settles for a corner.
Yeah, went for the first time cutback. Not sure Lefondra would have got there, but showed good pace there, De Jong. Ball over the top. Deep run.
Ninkovich will get another corner here. Took a long time to see the first corner in the first half. Now a couple in quick-fire succession for the Sky Blues, attacking the Cove end here. Ninkovich, he thought he was lining up a header there. Franjic came across in the nick of time for Perth. Now the counter-attack is on. He's won out Fabio Ferreira. He's got pace, nudged off it, and he's asking for a free kick that's not coming.
Well, terrific recovery run from Josh Brillante. Just wondered whether there might have been a foul there. There wasn't much complaining from Ferreira.
Marcella, he's had plenty of work to do in the middle of that back three. Turned over by Brimmer. Ninkovich can face forward. Lafondra with his hand up. He's the target. De Jong running. Look at the run from Rattray, who's been found. Paulo Rattray. There was a tight angle at the end of it all, but a thrilling counter-attack.
Yeah, and a great pass from Lafondra. And he took it really well. Thought he'd done the hard part, Rattray, because he collects this ball. Look, great first touch, and then completely mishits it with his left foot.
Kenny's ball just eluding Ferreira. Ferreira did win the throw-in, played it out off Caceres, who didn't see it that way. The throw-in given up to Grant, though. Game opening up here. Really good flow about it. Rattray just keeps on rolling in this unfamiliar role. O'Neill.
Just a bit flat-footed, wasn't it? Right idea from O'Neill, little no-look pass.
I mentioned the players that are missing from the defensive look for Perth. Daniel Garb, which way do you reckon they'll go come week one of the finals for them?
Yeah, I reckon two of their preferred back three are missing tonight, Speedy. No doubt Shane Lowry is the mainstay there, but Matthew Sporanovic has had a huge impact in the second half of the season. He's a lock for them. And then, of course, Dino Djulbic has had a really good season. So they've got a lot of central defensive options, but Djulbic and Sporanovic in there with Lowry, undoubtedly their preferred back three.
Yes, Ivan Franjic. Deflection on that cross. Sandelad brought it down, and adjusting for the shot was Ferreira.
Just come back too quickly at him. But a sweeping move from Perth. Kilkenny with the ball out the front. Deflection off Grant there. Cleverly chested back. And just couldn't control it, could he? But you're right, Speedy. There's a lot more action in this opening. What is it now? Only 6 or 7 minutes. And we saw pretty much entirely the first half. First half had good tempo. There was intensity, but not much in the front third for both teams.
All the way through to Lafondra. Seemed De Jong and Marcella were in a little wrestle there and forgot about the ball. Marcella thought he was being held onto and grounded by De Jong. Grant and Marcella stretching, concedes the corner. Had to deal with it as Lafondra was lurking.
He had the easy ball to Caceres and tried to get Lafondra, and Marcella, as you said, stretching, skews off the outside of his boot, and Sydney will get another corner, third one already in this second half.
Ryan Grant getting into the area. Ninkovich hit the deck. And that was right in front of the referee, who saw nothing untoward. Clever little header back into Lafondra. O'Neill. Brillante. Caceres upended by Castro.
Yeah, and this set piece from this is better than the corner. This is the ideal position for a free kick. Maybe a little bit wide. It's nearly on the touch line or sideline.
O'Neill's delivery. And all the way through for Lowry to deal with it. Got a reaction from Alex Wilkinson, who was next in line. Interesting that Wilco, one of the tallest players, retreats to halfway here. Not interested in trying to get on the end of things. Ninkovic, oh, they asked for a penalty there. Interesting. VAR will check it out. Ninkovic was crashed into.
Oh, that looked like a penalty. First look.
Well, the ball might have been won, but it's the kind of reckless challenge that leads to a free kick outside of the area more often than not. Interesting one. Oh, given away by Berlanti, straight to Santalab. Good strength shown on the ball by the veteran striker. Franjic just waited for it. Caceres took it away. Franjic won it back. Kilkenny, read by Ninkovic. Stayed down for a little while then. He's just talking to Chris Beath about it now, asking why that wasn't a penalty, but he's getting back into the action, hunting a goal in the same sequence here. It's already been cleared, I can tell you. There won't be a penalty forthcoming via VAR. Rattray, good shape about that. Lowry again, reading it well in flight. I reckon 5 years ago, Ferreira might have got around the outside there of Grant. Just lost a little bit of that dash.
And Sydney applying the pressure. They've certainly upped their intensity in the second half.
Marcella out of Lafondra. Lowry gets good distance in that header. Lovely first touch. O'Neill got him on the front foot. Sliding in. Marcella. O'Neill trying to poke it through. Kilkenny back lending a hand right on top of his back 3/5. Castro, risky ball, 50-50 to be won. Brimmer didn't fancy it against Ninkovic. Still haven't had a stoppage since that penalty shout.
Yeah.
Caceres desperate to atone. Slides in from behind and gets away with just a foul on Ferreira there. Here we go.
Ball played into it. Oh. You know what? If he gives it, it's the same result from the VAR. I mean, clearly he does get the ball, but is it reckless? But you'd have to agree, it's not clear and obvious error.
No. Really tough one to adjudicate on in real time. And Chris Beath obviously saw Brendan Santalab win the ball first. So you have to give him credit for that, but gee whiz, if it was on halfway, I reckon there would have been a whistle. Pass misses Kilkenny, who gave Marcella a little spray about that. Grant again advancing with real purpose. The return ball from De Jong. And Grant couldn't wrap his boot around it sufficiently to give Ninkovic a chance.
And even if he did, it would have been a difficult one because Sydney didn't have players in the box. But bursting run from Grant, who once again has been excellent this evening so far.
The tempo is so high right now. It's end-to-end stuff that there's a few players that wouldn't mind sucking in the big ones for a while, but it just keeps on flowing. At the back end of a season, a game like this can take its toll. Saw a few players trudging around a moment ago. Santalab misplacing the pass.
Retro's just taking his time here.
A shorter week for Perth as well after those festivities on the Sunday night as well. So maybe it's in Sydney FC's favour to keep it this kind of game. Might get some payoff at the back end of it, given the cross-country nature of Perth's travel. Grant, great foot race v Franjic, shoulder to shoulder, and a free kick going against Ivan.
Well, it was even, wasn't it? Franjic will argue it's shoulder. Referee's assistant flagged straight away, but another really lung-busting run from Ryan Grant. And he shakes the hand of Franjic, appreciates the duel, the battle. Into the back, to be fair. Referee's assistant right there.
Well, but for injury, Ivan Franjic might still have that right back role with the Socceroos locked down, but now it's Grant's. And maybe that came into that foot race. Neither wanted the other to get one over them. O'Neill, clever routine, because Lafondra had found space, but he didn't negotiate the two-man wall. That ball stays in. Castro, the ultimate beneficiary. Brimmer, clever, classy. Castro dragged it back from O'Neill, looked for a killer ball to Chianese. And won it back, Castro. Chianese's back on side now. Perth hunting that equaliser, but Brandon O'Neill, as he does so often, wins it back for his team. And Brimmer unable to do likewise.
Yeah, it's a silly one because they let him off the hook because they were going nowhere, Sydney, there.
Sydney FC have had a fair workload lately as well. The derby, the Asian Champions League commitments, a big blue. But they seem to be wanting to keep it high energy, high octane stuff here. De Jong clips one, and Neville able to bring it down for Brimmer. Fabio Ferreira, Adelaide United, Central Coast Mariner. Sydney FC playing. Lowry advancing. Offside here, Sandilow by about 3 metres. Played 23 games for the Sky Blues between 07 and 09, just the 4 goals. One of those, that spectacular effort at Adelaide Oval. Another one came in that 5-4 game against the Central Coast Mariners. Tony Popovich played in that one too, from memory. Bunched up here in this part of the pitch, so Brillanti checked out to Calver. Don't see that from Wilkinson too often. A ball over the top. Michella falls ready into it. Didn't get enough on it. Picked off by Ninkovic, who could have gone early there. De Jong and Lafondra were clearly onside, but he bought some time. De Jong, Retray, Brillanti! And they get blockers in the road. Shane Lowry does that better than anyone in the A-League, just about, doesn't he? The block, and offside again here, Ferreira.
End to end. It's totally different second half. And Reddy trying to play that one out to Chianese, and Ninkovic with the interception. They didn't make the most of it, did they, really? Valente, super block. Look at how they put their bodies on the line.
That's an art that you perfect when you're playing the championship in England. Never quite cracked it for a Socceroos cap, Shane Lowry, but is he on the horizon still? Could he get there, Robbie? Do you think the form that he's in with the best team in the A-League?
I think anyone's on the radar with form. He's doing himself any disservice at the season he's had and he's having.
Turns 30 in June. Offside against De Jong here. He was in contention for a World Cup squad. I think it was 2010. He was one of the last players cut from that. An experience that Josh Berlanti knows all too well, unfortunately for the Sydney FC midfielder, cut from the last 2 World Cup squads. And also missed out on that move to South Korea, did Berlanti. Perth stringing the passes together. Branic. Away by Wilkinson. To chase. Calver across in time. I think Ferreira's gone down a little too easily there. Ninkovic.
What's he been in the second half? Milos Ninkovic.
That's ominous for votes, the way Robbie chimed in there.
I honestly wasn't thinking that. He's just been really good this second half. Most of Sydney's attacks have come down this left-hand side. Perth still look dangerous when they break.
O'Neill. Lafondra upended. Free kick Sydney FC.
Just got his toe there first. Drew the foul.
O'Neill's going to go early here. Oh, what a ball! Grant. Caceres. Little flick over the top. Lafondra trying to invent something.
Oh, what a ball from Brandon O'Neill. And I'm just wondering why Ryan Grant let it bounce.
Now he whips one in. Kept alive by the maestro. Oh, it was through for De Jong, who just couldn't adjust to get it out in front of himself. But I'm with you on the Ryan Grant. It was almost like he didn't believe how good that ball was from O'Neill.
Just take it on the full, cushion it, would have been a lot more dangerous. Once he lets it bounce, it allowed Perth to get back.
One of the passes of the season didn't lead to a goal, unfortunately. For replay purposes down the track, but it deserves another look.
And the funny thing with that is Grant normally always takes that on the full, that kind of ball.
Or on the half volley, sort of, yeah, gets there
on the front foot, yeah, rather than the back foot. Here's Ninkovic with that ball. He's onside. De Jong couldn't readjust.
Less than a quarter of the 90 minutes to go. Sydney FC still in front, courtesy of that tap in from Adam Lafondra. easy. Looking to go back inboard. Kilkenny. He's diagonal, held up for Grant. Tried to head it down for Caceres. This switch looking for Castro. It's another pass that hangs up. Castro gives away the foul. Beath plays the advantage.
And there is none. But Diong, that's poor from him. And now he's walking.
Yeah, he looks a bit
disinterested.
Yeah.
Sydney, for the first time in this second half, just sit back and they're a little bit deep. Castro trying to get himself on the ball.
Neville, nice little move around Lafondra. Castro's flick comes off.
This is where you want him on the ball.
Castro, brilliant. Bought a little bit of time. Vianese relishing playing right wing back in this second half. Ferreira stands it up, one to attack, but away by Wilkinson. Branich, left wing back in the second half. Brimmer. Oof. Slid in after losing it, and then puts it out for the goal kick. And he might have done himself some damage by the looks of that. He's already got that leg strapped.
Substitution for Perth Glory, replacing number 22, Fabio Ferreira, is number 14, Chris Harold.
Change being made by both teams here, as Liam Reddy's dad watches on at a venue he knows only too well. Rod Reddy, Rocket Rod Reddy out of Rockhampton. 40 wins out of 59 games at this venue for St George.
I remember him growing up.
Is number 16, Reza Kuchanajak.
Lock forward.
Sponsored by
Bang on.
Number 8, I think, from memory.
Yeah, the numbers around the wrong way back then, or the right way.
The right way, in my opinion.
So Reza Kuchanajak on.
He was always one of those ones, and Kuchanajak, I think that's a good change. I know Diong was feeling a bit of fatigue, but anyway, they definitely need a bit of energy. But Rocket Reddy was always one of those. He was so hard to get in the rugby league cards. You know those cards you'd buy at New South Wales? Everyone wanted to get him. Everyone at school was trying to swap for him.
So Fabio Ferreira is making his way off, and he's going to be replaced by Chris Harold. His first minutes of the season. He suffered a shocking bout of chickenpox during this campaign, Chris Harold. Had to fight back from that. Had some health issues, and he struggled to break into this lineup that's been going so well. So it's been such a regular in seasons gone by. And after becoming a dad for the first time in the last year as well, he gets his first minutes.
Well, thank goodness after all that misery, he had a bit of good news.
Chickenpox in your adult life is not
I had it
to be wished for.
Yeah, I had it in my adult life. No, definitely not to be wished for.
Well, here's a big story brewing, because that is the young face of Christian Popovich, set for an A-League debut. Grant! And Reddy down sharply.
Yeah, decent effort. And Reddy perfectly positioned, smothers it. Doesn't pop out, as Kuchanajak was following through. Castro just wants to keep the game going. Really had the ball a number of times he would like. Always wants to be on the ball.
What about that moment? Dad getting in the ear of his 17-year-old son. The heart must be beating for both, eh? Don't see that too often. A little pat on the head for good luck for Christian. Brimmer trying to give Harold one to chase. He's got great pace. Redmayne able to advance.
It just scooped it over Brimmer. Just a little bit too much on it.
Look at Grant go. This stage of the game, he broke the heart of Chris Harold there. All the way back to Reddy for safety first.
Yeah, but that kind of run, see, it puts him in an attacking position. Pressure from LaFondra, and Reddy has to play it out.
Well, what a moment this is for the Popovic family. Christian Popovic, 17 years of age, makes his A-League debut, coached by Dad Tony, who missed Christian's birth in 2001 after he made the switch from Sanfrecce Hiroshima to Crystal Palace that year. So he took off to the UK to try and get his work permit to secure that move to Crystal Palace, and Christian arrived 3 weeks early. So Popper's on the phone going, "You're joking," and missed out on the birth of young Christian, but they share this special moment tonight, the pair of them. See, Popper was in a bit of a tug of war then, or a legal battle, if you like, because he had to play 75% of games for Australia.
I remember that, yeah.
He was stuck on 73, and they rejected it, so he had to go into an appeal process to get that visa. Times have changed a little, haven't they? And of course, he was practicing, training with the Western Sydney Wanderers as we check in with Garby for more.
Thanks, Speedy. My story's not as good as yours, but I did speak to Tony Popovic pre-game about his son. Just asked about where he plays, where he might end up. He said he's played defensive midfield. As I'll just take a break.
O'Neill, he got rid of Popovic there. The advantage was paid.
Had the run of LaFondra, and he takes it on himself and hits it on the up. Lose the ball here, Kuchanich does well. O'Neill bursts clear. Now he's got that little ball. LaFondra's not really on, so he's got every right to take that on.
Get back to Garby.
Sorry, Speedy. Yeah, he said, look, he's played defensive midfield for the Glory youth team. He's going to play there tonight. He's in that position right now. But he says long-term, he'll end up as a centre-back, just like that.
Yeah, still growing. There's Christian. And there'll be a few Popoviches breaking into the A-League ranks in the years to come. And there's a Kalats in the Wanderers squad this weekend.
Brilliant.
Zelko's son getting a call up.
Goalkeeper?
You'd have to think so.
You'd have to think so.
Well, good tussle. And Franjic wins out here. So a set piece from your kind of angle, Robbie, coming up.
Yeah, great position. Yeah, Kilkenny on it, can deliver. It's a really good position for an in-swinging right footer.
Calver getting the assignment on Lowry. Wilkinson picking up the tallest contender in Machella. Good-looking shape about it. Redmayne over the top of everyone. Got an effective punch away. Great goalkeeping in the circumstances. Oh, LaFondra upended by Sanderlab. Well, you wouldn't expect Sander against Sydney FC to not pick up a booking, the former Wanderer. And that's a challenge we've grown to love.
Yes. What's this? Bang. Fully committed.
Unlike that challenge in the penalty box about 20 minutes ago, he didn't win the ball this time. But it was equally robust. He used to get wound up for those derbies against the Sky Blues. Did Santa. Second only to Mark Bridge on the Wanderers goal-scoring charts. direction. Sanderlab still clear of Mark Bridge. Kilkenny past Ninkovic. Little 1-2 with Harold. Finds an angle to Keonazi to deliver first time, and his crossing lets him down. Appeared to bend out of play.
It did.
The assistant said play on.
Oh, dangerous ball from Grant.
Kilkenny, and straight back to Grant. And they might be away here. Ninkovic. Oh, he's asking Redfrey to do a lot there. He'll get it back though. Now they can take off the target. There's Gujanajad, who may have been borderline offside. Ready under pressure. Turning away from Gujanajad, who's all over him and committing the foul.
Definitely a foul, but taking a risk.
Beathy saw flashpoint potential. Ready the Iranian. Ready had a spell in Iran, didn't he? Very brief one when his career was on the rocks a little. He really has bounced back, and it was great to see his post-match interview last week, Liam Reddy, talking about the fact that he'd finally collected his first silverware at this stage of his career in his late 30s. Here's Popovic trying to play it to Keonazi.
Sydney just getting deep. Perth with good possession.
Confidence boosting touch for Popovic to find Lowry. Oh, Sanderlab trying to drag it out of the sky. He'll get a corner out of it.
Well, he did drag it out of the sky, and the follow through Calver taking it off the end of his foot. He's Liam Reddy. Just ducks inside. It's clearly a foul, and then it's on.
Wonder what Rocket would have done.
I think we know what he would have done. You can't do that in this game.
Razor might have wound up on his backside. Castro settles for another corner. Kilkenny's going to whip it in here. Flicked off the head of Murchella. Oh, they got in each other's road there. Popovic was thinking about the strike. Neville inside the area. And O'Neill able to prevent the corner this time.
And they've just got enough bodies, but they're very deep. Perth pushing.
Popovic past Ninkovic. Filed that one away. Janajad able to bring it down, and Sydney FC may finally be able to relieve some pressure here. One back though by Harold. Harold presenting for Kilkenny. Look how deep Sydney FC are.
Yeah, asking for trouble.
Franich shows patience. Lowry, good looking ball in. And Harold and Sanderlab
got in each other's way. That was a good ball in. And again, two Perth Glory players get in their own way. In each other's way, rather. It's a really good ball in.
Sponsored by Jeff Rock Production Services. Number 11, Danny Silva.
The home team make another change. Danny De Silva, who sustained that arm injury in a goal-scoring kind of situation. A few weeks back now, has it strapped up, and he's going to come on and face his former club. 33 games for the Glory as a teenager between 2013 and 15 for that move overseas. Signed by Roma and playing ultimately in the Dutch Eredivisie before returning to Australia, linking up with the Mariners and then the Sky Blues. Already scored against Perth this season. It was in the win in round 9. Patience being shown by Perth. 6 minutes and counting before the 90 is up. Castro secures the throw in, the attacking third. He knows he wanted to take it, and now Castro says, righto.
Didn't really work out, did they? One. Had Scott Neville with an easy one backwards, but Sydney have certainly seem content to sit rather deep and allow Perth to have the ball. Now they'll find a bit of space on the right-hand side.
De Silva, confronted by Lowry. And we've got a foot in just as he was about to be turned inside out. Plenty of numbers here now. Berlanti. Always rising.
And the last couple of chances have been that. Shots from distance, one from Brendan O'Neill. This time his partner, Josh Berlanti, not a great strike either. That one looks like it's overhit.
I feel like it's almost been a trademark of Sydney FC this season. When they take a 1-0 lead, doesn't matter when it is, they'll sit on it for a long, long time. Sometimes it's come back to bite them. Steve Corica electing not to play ball boy there. He wants to see a bit more. He knows it's an important little period here. Try and keep Melbourne Victory at bay. They've got an Asian adventure to see to before they come back and play Newcastle away in the final round. Melbourne Victory play Adelaide United tomorrow, coming up on Fox Sports. And the Victory in the final round away to the Wanderers across town at the ANZ Stadium here in Sydney. Castro's flick into the area now. Diego Castro. Away by Calver as he tried the cheeky finish for the far corner.
Yeah, and that's what can happen when you sit deep. Castro, you know, really with a glimpse there. And Franjic will have a good position here.
Pulls it back. Popovic running onto it. Oh,
that would have been a moment. And look how deep Sydney are. They're just inviting pressure. I know you say they can sit on a lead, but Perth looking more and more likely with the minutes ticking away. Sydney no effort at all. They're almost back on the penalty box.
easily read by Berlanti. Lafondra will stay in for him. Not this time. That was interesting, that run from Popovic into the area. There was a few swinging legs going around, and a more seasoned player may have cynically gone down. He kept his feet through it all. Here he is again. They've left him alone. And that's a decent ball to Franjic. Scored last week and gives away the foul here.
What a chance. What a chance, and what a ball from Popovic. And Franjic's first touch lets him down. This is the first one. As he goes stumbling through, you're right. And this one, brilliant pass. Franjic first touch takes it in towards the Sydney players.
He's going to have a fair passing ability for a centre-half when he eventually migrates to that role. It's a terrific ball over the top of the defence. Franjic. Sandelab quickest to react. Castro used his body. Free kick. Takes it quickly. Chianese.
Here they come again.
Castro. Harold snatches at it. Now Castro's asking about the handball. VAR will be checking it out. And Redmayne won't be able to take his goal kick just yet.
Ball in from Chianese, and look how deep they are.
The arms were raised by the defender, but does it come off the hands of Wilkinson? Well, it comes off the hand of Berlanti. You're not going to get a penalty there, though.
You don't think so? You wouldn't think so. This doesn't. Castro's stooping to head the ball. His hands come from behind his head.
Not a clear and obvious error, even though it touches two Sydney FC arms.
I tell you what, Sydney deep again, and that's all you need. That kind of ball bobbling or flashing around.
That's how much time Perth have to try and preserve their unbeaten road record this season. And they snatch a dramatic late equaliser. Well, will Sydney FC find the victory to take them 5 points clear in the race for second? Lowry asking for more. Ahead of him, had to go back to Murchella. Janajad blocking off Lowry. No free kick. He's furious. Or give away by Lafondra.
And just when they need to keep some possession, Lafondra gives it away. And Perth will come again.
Popovic. Header found Castro, trying to help it on. Popovic plays ball boy. Christian keeps on wanting the ball. Great signs for a teenager. Feels like he can make a difference. Another pass. Finds a teammate. Chianese. Here he is again, Popovic. And this is shaping as though it was going into that far corner. Held up on the breeze for Redmayne.
Yeah, missing cross. And you're right, for a moment there, it looked like it just might be flying over where Redmayne was enough pace on it, and he's able to readjust and very comfortable in the end.
Thought we were getting the old Ronaldinho over the top of Seaman for a moment.
Wow, that's some comparison.
Harold. Halfway through the minimum amount of stoppage time. Waiting for the lanes to open up. Lowry can't get it over the top of Grant. Anywhere will do for Berlanti. Oh, tricky little move. De Silva back there to keep it away. Kilkenny trying to make something happen. And Lowry's upset with himself for the control on the header. It's a tough watch for Broski. He's going to have to get used to it. He'll be watching a lot more football from the stands in the years to come.
It was interesting, Ufuk Tele in his interview saying that he was hoping that he was going to go for another season. But, you know, can't say too much about Alex Broski and the impact he's had on this club. Absolute wonderful career. Socceroos as well. You can't imagine he won't be around the club.
8th appearance of the campaign for Jacob Tratz. Goal scorer and striker off in Lafondra. Defender on. Tratz slotting in alongside Culver and Wilkinson. Ball's in the right part of the pitch for Sydney FC now after absorbing all of that pressure. Grant goes long. Michela can use Reddy, and they can have one last crack here. There'll still be another 30 seconds or so added on for that substitution. Need to be just about perfect, though, as they edge their way upfield. No, there's no more time. Chris Beef says that'll do us. And Sydney FC land a little psychological blow ahead of the final series. They hand Perth their first away defeat of the season and go a long way towards securing a top 2 finish on the A-League table. Adam Lafondra's goal, enough to separate the two teams, as Sydney FC go past the 50-point barrier yet again.